All right, sitting here at gorgeous Colonial Life Arena, an empty Colonial Life Arena. I'm Elijah Campbell, host of the post-game show on 107.5 The Game TV, along with Jack Veltri, my man from Gamecock Central. And, well, we're at the scene of the crime right now, the scene of the crime of winning your first SEC game of the season. It was a big SEC opener. And played a really good Mississippi State team, one of the best defensive teams in all of college basketball. And, Jack, it looked pretty ugly for the first couple minutes of the game. It took a little while, but ultimately this Gamecock team was able to get it done against a tough, formidable conference opponent here at home.
Yeah, man, it was an ugly start to the game, but, as the game wore on, as you got more looks against this defense, I feel like there was a lot more comfortability with the way they were playing. Because in the first few minutes, you see South Carolina taking a lot of time off the shot clock. It took, I think, until the last 5 seconds of each possession to get a shot off. And even then, the shots weren't great. Once you started letting it rip, and I think Meechie Johnson or Jacoby Wright hit a three to really get it going. Once you hit one of those shots, it's like you feel a lot more comfortable and you can, space the floor a little more. And, as the game wore on, it showed. They were able to hit some shots and, get the job done in the end.
Yeah, Lamont said post-game, he felt they finally loosened the defense up when Meechie finally started to attack on this basket right here, the one where he almost got a dunk, but he was a lot more aggressive to the hole, and that's where I want to take this next is Meechie scored 24 points, and there were times in this game where the offense seemed like it would stall out a little bit, but he'd either hit big threes or he'd be able to get to the basket, or he'd be able to at least get paint touches, which against this Mississippi State defense is really, really hard.
It really is, and, it was just crazy seeing him, we're used to him by now shooting from anywhere on the floor. He could be by the logo and hit a shot. But the way he did it and with the style he did it, he didn't feel afraid to let it rip when he needed to. And it really did help South Carolina eventually pull away, with the big plays he made shooting the ball. But also, don't forget defensively. He makes that huge steal at the end of the game where he gets the loose ball and he rips it away, and then he runs down the other side of the court, gets fouled, and ultimately hits the free throws to end the game. But, going 9 for 11 at the line today, and it's just the free throws, the defense, the three-point shots, driving to the hole. This is like a five-tool type of player. So you have to be satisfied with the way he just continues to produce for this team when it comes to these big games.
And my biggest question marks about this team going into conference play was how well are you going to be able to replicate your three-point shooting, how well are you going to replicate the rebounding advantage they've had. Some coaches I've talked to, like the one thing is, they might not be able to rebound offensively as well enough to win games against teams like Mississippi State. And tonight, they about doubled off the offensive rebounding rate of a team that's already a really good rebounding team.
I was very surprised with the way they were able to rebound today because you see Bell and Smith from Mississippi State, two massive guys. You see Talon Cooper on the inbound plays, and you have Toulouse Smith hovering over him. It's like, how are you able to defend and stop these guys? But somehow, some way, you're able to crash the boards. You're playing a lot more aggressive, like you said, Elijah. Lamont Paris was kind of pointing that out. Guys like Meechie Johnson and Zach Davis were crashing to the boards, making plays. And I think it really, I don't want to say it caught Mississippi State off guard, but it kind of felt that way, right? Like they were just able to get inside. And even though they aren't as big as Mississippi State, they're able to get inside and just jump over them. And it made a difference in the end. When you grab 9 or 10 more rebounds than these guys, it adds up in points, and you saw it at the end of the day.
Made up the margin, 6-point margin, 68-62. And lastly here, getting a win on CBS, nationally televised in your home court in a conference slate in which you're going to have to win like 8 to 10 games and get a couple of key wins to be able to get into the NCAA tournament. It only counts as a quad 2 win today, but in SEC play, it's important to go 1-0. How does this kind of change our perception going into really the rest of the conference play, the last 17 games?
So we knew South Carolina coming into this game needed a big win, and like you said, quad 2 win, top 30 in KenPom. This was a game that you wanted to have, not just because it's on CBS. You have more eyes on you, obviously, because of that. But getting a win over a team like Mississippi State, because your best win coming into today, if I'm not mistaken, was either Grand Canyon or Virginia Tech. And both of those games were, non-conference, neutral site. But you needed a win like today to really solidify yourself, because it's only going to get harder from here, right? You're gonna go to Tuscaloosa next week. You're going to Missouri after that. Then you'll get Kentucky at some point this month. So getting a win like this today is not just good for your resume, but it's also good for, you know, your morale, your confidence going into these bigger games the rest of the way. Because I think now we see that they can do it, right?
Oh, yeah.
We've known that they can do it against bad teams and beat on them badly. But to have a gritty win like you did today, do everything that you needed to do to end up winning the game, even though it wasn't easy, but you managed to get it done. I think that just says a lot about this team and how much of an improvement they've made since last year.
Absolutely. Gamecocks 1-0 in SEC play. They'll be back in action on Tuesday when they travel to Tuscaloosa to play mighty Alabama. We'll have more. Keep you here on 107.5 The Game and now The Game TV.